All right, welcome back, everybody. We're talking with Ann Bartels from Bank of America Merrill Lynch. So, Ann, when you look at indicators, I mean, the sentiment, the bulls, bears, then winning at this point, what do you see?
Well, when you look at the percentage bears, which is what everyone's really talking about, the bears have gone away. They're in hibernation is the general comment. But I'm not worried about that because the bulls are not in. Where everybody's hanging out is in what we call the correction, where people are positive on the market but looking for a correction. You know, I have to admit I was in that camp, but with the breakout, I think the momentum is going to stay to the positive side. And what we need is for those professional advisors that were looking for a correction to throw in the towel. And I'd like to get percentage bulls on Investors Intelligence way up into, I'd love to see 60 before it becomes a problem for the market.
You talk about people throwing in the towel. Zahra, I want to bring you into this because you've been tracking some information kind of out from Investors Intelligence dealing kind of with the bear bull sentiment.
Yeah, Marion was just talking about this a while ago, the fact that the bears have basically gone away. But what we saw in the last week, we saw the bears actually pick up. Now, we're still coming off way lows. I mean, we're talking about back in December, it was the lowest since 1987 in terms of the number of bears. So the fact that that's picked up, one analyst I was just talking to, Peter Bookvar over at Miller he was saying, you know what, it's really so modest. He's saying there actually should be more bears out there. He sees a lot of concern for the market, and he's talking about the Federal Reserve raising interest rates this year. He thinks that's going to be a headwind. But I also want to get into one of the things that Marianne was just talking about, the fact that even though there's so few bears, more than a third, and this has picked up in the past week, more than a third of the investors on Wall Street are thinking that we could see a correction. And, you know, Marianne, my question to you is, how do you square all that? The fact that, yes, you have a pickup in bears, but yet you're seeing also a pickup in the number of people calling for a correction.
I consider that bullish.
Bulls, I should say. Bulls, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's a little bit of pickup in the bulls, but not a lot. The biggest pickup, and the data came out today, is in the percentage for the correction. So I think we need that number to go down for the percentage for correction and have them throw in the towel and go into the bullish camp. And I'd love to see percentage bulls get up close to 60% before it's really going to become problematic for the equity market.
Hey, Marianne, I wonder about, you know, talking of a correction, back when you were on with us in October, you said that U.S. stocks would plunge. That obviously didn't happen. And you say now the call was premature. Do you expect that later on in the year? I mean, when does this happen?
Well, the year that we're in, that I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about, is a congressional election year. And we went back and we studied all the periods for the congressional election. The year closes up positive. And if you're in a recession, you get a better return. The market actually closes up 7%. But within that year, you can get a 20% correction within the year. So what I'm looking for in 2010 is a lot of rotation within the market and for volatility to pick up, because the VIX index has been declining since its peak in 08. It's down 70+% off the high. So I think 2010 could wind up being the year that we start talking about volatility. So I think the year can be fine, but within the year, we can get big movements within the market. In the first quarter, though, what the indicators are telling us is that the trend is up.
All right, got it. Hey, Ann, great to get some time with you. Ann Bartels, everybody.